Ma'am, do you mind if me and my associate, have a short private conversation? Foster said, starting to walk towards Hamilton and grabbing him by the arm. You may do as you wish. Take all the time that you require. I have no need to overhear your conversations as of yet. The truly interesting facets have yet to be set in motion, she said. In the moment, Foster could almost feel her smiling beyond that black void as she grabbed Hamilton and began to pull him further away in the room, eventually stepping over to the farthest corner that they could reach away, leaning in and trying to whisper. Okay, you cannot be seriously considering making this deal. Please tell me you're not considering making this deal, Foster said, completely bewildered with the situation. It's not exactly something that I'm looking forward to. It's not as if I thought this might be a possible term. Hell, I thought it was more possible that she might try to ask for the eyes out of my skull, than to suddenly decide she wants me to fall in love with someone, Hamilton said, pressing his hand against his forehead, rubbing his temples a bit. But I don't know what else to do. We've already wasted so much time finding her. And if we deny the deal, it's just back to another search. And now, all of the demons have gone into hiding, meaning we'll have to spend extra time trying to ferret out any more information. We're already too far behind schedule. Bounty hunters are probably already working grids looking for him. And that's not even counting the Imperial soldiers who have crystals tied to his life force. They'll be even farther ahead. This is not good. But there is a possibility this could be manageable. Manageable? Are you serious? Foster replied. You cannot be serious. You're actually telling me that you'd just be fine with her magically making you fall in love with me. Well, it's not ideal, but it's far from an unmanageable situation. I know myself fairly well. I'm not exactly a love maniac if you haven't noticed. Honestly, being in love with you would be a massive inconvenience. There are so many things that I have going at any given time. I prefer my freedom, but if my understanding of the feeling of love holds somewhat true, then it will just mean that I'll feel a compulsion to get to know you, spend time with you, or be with you. But knowing myself, this is highly unlikely to be an inconvenience to you. The only one it will really inconvenience is me. It means you'll be able to take advantage of me. What? Foster replied. I'll be able to take advantage of you? Yes, Hamilton replied, giving her a stern and serious expression. Remember, you're going to be the only one who remembers this little deal. She's going to take the memory away from me. So I'm just going to be head over freaking heels for you, and have no idea why. This will make me far more inclined to, well, see things your way. Most likely overlooking your obvious flaws, and allowing myself to be manipulated, in the hopes that it might gain me some form of relationship leverage with you. Relationship leverage? Yes, relationship leverage. That's all a relationship really is. At least if you ask me. That's all courtship really is. People putting out massive amounts of effort to get the other person to consider them as a mate. I'd rather have my mating practices be a form of business. At least that I can understand. Marry my daughter, produce 3 children, your job is done. This will guarantee the prosperity of both bloodlines, that sort of thing. In fact, if anything, that was what I was expecting my relationship to be. That way, me and the woman wouldn't have to be complicated. That was how my parents got married. Why would it have been any different for me? Marriage and children was just part of our job. We needed to ensure the bloodline to ensure the protection of the library we were in possession of. Are you serious? That was how your parents got together? Yeah, what's wrong with that? Lots of people get married that way, have families that way. Honestly, it seems much less troublesome than the other way. These ridiculous love games. Honestly, this whole thing seems to be arranged to be nothing more than an inconvenience to me. She most likely perceived how I feel about love. Did you take note of the fact that she said that she liked you and that she found me unpleasant? Don't you get it? This is punishment. One-sided punishment. She decided she liked you and didn't like me. So, she's trying to give you leverage on me. Something that you can use to get your way when it comes to dealing with me. If I were to hazard a guess, I'd say this lonely old woman bit is just a play to sidetrack that. Wanting entertainment. Ugh, I bet. I don't trust any of it. So then what do we do about it? Foster asked. Like, I am not exactly head over heels for the idea of you being all ooky with me. Ooh, I love you, Foster. Watch me keep the same face and adjust my glasses, she said mockingly. You are not exactly my type. And the idea of trying to manipulate you just seems like it could go wrong in far too many ways. You're not exactly stupid. If I try to manipulate you with this, even if you are in love with me, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be smart enough to sense it. I don't think I'm a good enough liar to pull one over on you. But that still leaves me with the problem of you actually being in love with me. You don't really grasp love. You think of it as some silly little thing. Like it's just another thing you can have control over. But you have no idea what love is like. Do you? You've never been in love with anyone. Have you, Four Eyes? She said, looking angrily at Hamilton. No, I've never been in love with anyone. Exactly, Foster replied. So you have no idea what you're going to be like once you are in love with someone. For all I know, it'll turn you into a raving lunatic. A raving lunatic who happens to be an exceptionally high-level demon, who could very easily kill me. What if you decide, if you can't have me, no one can have me? And the next thing you know, I have my soul getting sucked out. Ugh, that whole thing, that whole idea just freaks me out. None of this resolves our issue. Can we agree to the deal or not? How could this go south? There are just too many possibilities. There's no accurate way to gauge what might happen once we make this deal. And I won't be aware enough of the situation to really try to take any counteractive measures. But the fact remains that we still need to find the prince. That's not going away. Frankly, I could see this going bad either way I cut it. If I take the deal, I might end up in a bad situation when dealing with you. And if I don't take the deal, then all because I didn't want to take the emotional stress of being affectionate towards someone else. I let a good friend of mine lose everything. She spoke about people becoming heartless. People who have my characteristics, who don't care about others, who have no honor or decency. To be honest, I know far too many of those people as it is. And she's very right. I have a great deal in common with them. But I've always tried to hold myself to a better standard, to not be that type of person. If I absolutely refuse this deal, just for the sake of not wanting to feel affection for another person, how selfish does that make me? To let someone who sacrificed so much to protect something that was precious to me, and I wouldn't even sacrifice the willingness to give emotions to another person. No, I won't do that. Are you telling me you're gonna take the deal? I'm telling you that I don't want to not think about it. Okay, how about this? How about we decide this in a very simple and straightforward way? There's too much conflicting emotion here. Too much that's trying to press us for and against it. Too many ways it could go wrong, and too many ways that we need it to go right. So we'll cut out all the nonsense. We'll decide whether to take the deal on random chance. Random chance? Foster said. Yeah, Hamilton replied. I'll flip a coin. If it comes up heads, we take the deal. I fall in love with you, and she escorts us to the prince. We accomplish the mission, and I pay you your money. Whatever happens from that point on, well, we'll just have to deal with. And if it comes up tails, we turn her down. We find another way. It's definitely not the optimal choice, but neither choice seems really optimal at this point. So, what do you say, Foster? Lay it on the flip of a coin? Or do you have a better idea of how to decide?